Okay.
Welcome, people. Welcome, beautiful people. On this channel, we talk about so many things in terms of mental health. We talk about different factors may affect on how we feel and which can cause some of us feeling stressed, depressed, having different mental health issues. And in the past few weeks, we have been talking about some of the factors may cause our mental health to go low. And one of it, we have spoken about biological factors, and we have spoken about environmental factors. In today's video, we're going to talk about psychological factors. So welcome, Listra, on today's topic. And please, do you mind telling us what is psychological factors that can affect our mental health?
Okay, so first we need to understand the word psychology. And the psychology is anything to do with the mind and the way we think about the things around us. So the psychological factors are the things that impact upon our thinking. And it's things like abuse, trauma, things like bullying.
Yeah.
All these things that's cause us to feel. So it impacts our mind, it impacts our feeling, our emotions in some way. So these are the psychological factors.
Yeah, so thank you, Listra. So these psychological factors, they can start from at any time. It can be at the start of childhood, early childhood. It can start at any time as someone is a teenager. It can start in adulthood. It's all depend on those factors when those psychological factors comes up. And the longer we give them that opportunity, the more they are going to give impact on how we feel. For example, I work in a mental health setting, and most of the time when we're doing assessment and trying to find out actually about where that person come from, their childhood, and when they are talking about how they have been raised and how they grow up and where they are at the moment, you realize the really big link of how what this person went through during their childhood and how they have been trying to just go around all throughout their life and up to this moment. So what do we tell to someone who is a parent right now raising a child, and you really want to make sure that you protect your child in terms of their mental health? What kind of things do you think that we should start thinking of, or what kind of things do you think that we should start doing?
Okay, so first of all, I like to talk about my input in regards to mental health, how I found out that a lot of mental health starts from childhood. And the first question I'll ask someone is, what is the earliest memory that you can have? Because usually the thing that triggers the early memory will be something bad and something traumatic. So the person might remember when they were a baby infant. They might remember when they were 4 years old, when they were 8 years old, what happened, and then I'll go into the story of what happened. And then you can find a link between that and what they're going through as an adult, because that's the stage at which they are at. That's the stage they're stuck at. And they've been trying to cope through all the years with using this primitive method. And therefore, they outgrew it in such a way that they could no longer control their emotions, and therefore they become mentally unwell. And when we say mentally unwell, we do not talk about crazy here. Mentally unwell could mean they start to become anxious, depressed, or they can't cope with life anymore. They might start drinking alcohol, start using drugs in order to try to dampen their feeling. So what we have to remember is that from the conception, we have to think about the child. So we have to think about how as a parent, how do we cope? And what are we feeding this child? Because remember, the child and the mother are one when the child is inside of the womb. So anything the mother feels, the child feels as well. And you will know when the child is happy, when the child is excited, because they can all sort of things.
Yeah, Lisa,
So
you just said something right there,
yeah.
because I've realized it's not all the parent are the parent. Some of them are parent, they are just happy I've got children, but they actually don't parenting those children. And
Yes.
I've seen so many cases that where, someone feels like I've got children, and even when you ask them what the name of your for that child, and we'll be like, oh, I can't remember his name, or I can't remember her name. There is one of the time I was in a park, I was talking to this dad, and then I asked him, how old is your daughter? And he couldn't know how old is his daughter. I was like, wait, what is happening here? You don't know how old is your daughter. So that tells you, like, not everybody who have a child or children that is the parent. So how do we actually, now knowing that, because when a child is born, not even before the child is born, we start communicating with our children right in our tummy. So we, as a parent, if you're out there and you feel like you want to start having a family, or maybe you are pregnant right now as hearing this, I think it's very important that you become much more intentional on how you want to raise your child. Become much more intentional, which means that you're much more cautious what kind of communication you're having with the people around you, what kind of food you eat, what kind of drink you drink, what kind of environment you are in. Is this something that you feel proud of? Is this something you feel like you are happy? Are you happy in that environment? Because the feeling you have right now, your baby is feeling it. So if your feeling is negative, that's exactly what your baby is going to feel. And when your baby comes out, that environment is going to meet you right there that you are in. So how can we actually encourage people out there to become much more intentional on what they do when they are raising their children?
Right. As you know, I haven't got any children of my own, but I have a lot of brothers and sisters who I helped to rear anyway. So, but of course, because I've never been pregnant, I don't know how a baby is in the womb. I have never experienced that,
That's
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I would say that for intentional, some people, for example, you know that some people from the baby in the womb, they will sing to the baby, tell stories, and play music, all sort of nice things they'll do to the baby, and the baby will come out and be a happy baby. And this should continue throughout the child's life. Different stages, children require different nurturing at different levels. So when a baby is born, usually sucking something, a nipple or something will help to suffice them, will help to comfort them. Then as they grow older, play time, story time, or and these days what I noticed that probably we're not giving the children enough things to play with, ordinary things to play with. We buy the toy in the store, but we do not give them sand. They're not feeling the natural things around them. The plants, teach them how to appreciate nature, because this is how what will relax them. Instead of giving them all the big dolls and all the big cars and things, all these material things, let them focus on nature, things to keep their mind steady. And remember that children, well, teenagers, up to teenagers, especially teenagers, are the most traumatizing, because at that age, the parents sort of disconnect with the children because they do not know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
They expect the children to behave as when they were infants.
Yeah.
But we need to grow with the children. I need to understand that different age require different things. They might be risk averse as teenagers, meaning that they take risk, but that's the way they learn. You can help them to take a risk in a safe way.
Elisra, in addition to what you just said, I always, when I speak to parents, I ask them two things. I ask them, you are now a parent. How would you like me to treat you? Most of them, they will say, I want you to respect me, communicate with me in a positive manners, don't be rude, don't be this, all those good things they want them to receive from other people. And then I ask them another question. How about if your child is born and you already know that this child will be a prime minister one day, or will be a president of United States, or any president of any country? How will you treat that child? And everyone was like, oh, I'll be much more caring and nice, and all these kind of things, right? So what tells you that your child is not all this? Because actually your child just born. It doesn't matter whether your child is born in a rich family or in a poor family. We all here at some point for a purpose. And most of the time, our purpose are filled because of the environment we are in, and also on how later in life we come back together and you're trying to think about the journey where you have been and try to find your way out. But most of the time, the way you grow up, it really is the foundation on who you're going to become. So now you can imagine your child is born, you don't know who he's going to be, and what the child is going to get is or abuse or negative comment. You're not good enough, you are not good at this, you don't know how to dress, you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do this, you can't play nice. And you are a parent, you are right there picking up all these things that your child is not able to do. And you know already how to do those things, but still you're not showing your child how to do them. And trust me, this is what is happening out there. You can see that your child is struggling with maybe communication, or maybe playtime. They don't know how to play with other people. They don't know how to socialize. They're struggling with their schools, and helping them. And what you can see is just all those things your child is struggling with, and instead of supporting them and be there as the guide, you actually making things worse. So, and these are the kind of things to really psychologically impact on a child. And as I said, this negative impact, it can start at any time. It can be when you have your new job and somebody is just trying to bully you on your new job. It can be you starting a university and somebody is just trying to come on your way. It can be any time. So it's always all the time. You just need to be able to know that everything that happens to you, especially people who are around you, they play much more important on your how you are going to feel and how you're going to see things. So
Yeah.
for me, as a parent myself, I'm always intentional when I'm communicating with my children and even the children outside and even the people I'm with at work, people I work with, people I meet in a shop, people I meet in a playground, anywhere I go. I'm so intentional because I know the same way I'm feeling inside, the same way I want the other person to feel good. If I'm feeling good, I already want to make sure that people around me feels good, because some of us, we don't know how to take care of our mental health. Those are things that are happening to us. We may hold them so tight. We may hold them so tight and they end up destroying some of the things that we could have achieved in life. So for me, that's definitely what I can say to a parent, or even if you are not a parent, do something that you know that it will please you if somebody did it to you. So be kind to each other. Treat other people the way you would love to be treated, so that we can create much more positive society where we have no people with psychological impact, negative impact in their lives. And for me, that's how I see it. I don't know about
Another factor that parents sometimes do wrong is that they compare their children. Each child is an individual. Each child brings their own gifts and their own limitations. So treat each child according to their presentation.
Very true.
Some children will be introverted, some extroverted, some like to show off. But you have to know your kids and deal with them, each one individually, because don't compare Fred with Jane or with Miss Laura children, because you think Miss Laura children are so perfect. No child is perfect, 100%. So we need to be careful of that, comparing our kids and having favorites.
You're very right. You're very right. I mean, all the children are different. We all different, and we should embrace all that it's also a part of your family, that your children are different. Don't try to prioritize this one is good at this. Let me just push this one and abandon this. So just support your child from right where they are, so that they can, grow up as a positive individual. This has been really amazing topic. And if you're out there and you have any comment about what we have spoken today, and also if you would like to join our conversation, please just make a comment below and say anything, and we'll be much more than happy to respond to your message.
Also remember to subscribe to the station if you want to see more videos, and follow us because we want to hear your side of the story as well, because we do not just we only present our perspectives.
Very true.
So we need to hear from other people as well. Different perspective. That's the way we learn. Or if you're experiencing anything different, let us know.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time where we keep exploring much more about mental health and more factors that may associate to mental health. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.